Party people, what's going on? This is Samaj Marsh. I'm the founder of BlueDeathValley.com, and I want to welcome you guys back to a super dope episode of Inside the Valley, the podcast that's devoted to relentless coverage of A&T football. Dougie Brown, I don't know if you should put that helmet on because them things are hard to get off.
Hey man, you know, it's camp and you know, I heard we're gonna have some teammates on the show, man. I had to show them I'm still ready, man. You know, I'm camp ready. I got my helmet, I got my standard issue Aggie shimmy. You know what I'm saying? You can't be ready for camp without your Aggie shimmy. I got my water to stay hydrated. You know, I'm just happy, ready for camp to break, man. I starting to get camp eyes, man. Everything looking too good to me, looking a little better than it should. Camp eyes, you gotta wash it out, but I'm ready, guys. I'm ready.
Craig, we're gonna have a long show. I can see right now. This is gonna be epic right here. Well, so that was former A&T wide receiver and Greensboro native Doug Brown. Of course, he's one of the main guys here. How's it going, Doug? You ready for camp?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready as I'm gonna get.
Gotcha.
Glad the students are back.
Yes, sir. Well, hold tight. We also want to introduce Mr. President, my right-hand man, the brains of the operation, longtime A&T insider and a beat writer on BlueDeathValley.com for over 2 decades, Mr. Craig Turner. What's up, Craig?
Hey guys, what's up? I was looking at Doug with that helmet. It wasn't fitting right. It looked like the original bobblehead.
Well, CT, that's the trick. You know, I passed my real helmet down. That's just a keepsake that makes the A&T look bigger when you got it on the wall, man. But that's definitely a 2XL or XL, man. I can still fit a large, believe it or not, man. But shout out to the Aggies, man.
Well, look, as y'all can kind of see, Doug he's on one tonight. He's in rare form. That's because we have a star-studded lineup playing for you guys tonight. 2 of his former teammates. But before we do that, we're gonna bring in some heavy hitters now. This is gonna be an awesome show. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get that greatest 37 seconds on the internet out the way. Our intro. Oh, there you go. So once again, guys, we are in the middle of fall camp. We're a couple of weeks away from the start of football season, and everybody's pumped up. Doug is going crazy. Craig, you're doing pretty good. But I know the AEF is revving up. Y'all got a bunch of stuff planned for this weekend. We got the Aggie Fun Fest event going on Saturday. We're gonna talk about all that, everything we normally talk about, but we gotta bring these guests in, right? Because he's been waiting for a minute, and he's been super generous with his time. He's in the middle of high school football. He's a head coach, so I know he's preparing and looking at film and going over the game plan. But he took a second out of his schedule to come hang with us. This guy's a legend. I can't throw that word around too lightly, but in this case, it really applies not only in football but also in that baseball diamond. I'm talking about none other than Jason Battle. What's going on, Jason? Coach Battle, what's going on?
My guy, JB.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
That's good. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Coach. First of all, let's talk about that high school football because you got a game Friday night. Well, I guess you got JV tomorrow night. You got game Friday night. And y'all play a tough Tarboro team. It was state champions last year, 14-1.
Yep.
How your boys feeling, man?
We're excited. I mean, you know how the kids are. They're excited anytime you're going to get the football season started again. I mean, they're ready for the opportunity, and, you know, we got a tough hill to climb.
And that Tarboro's a big rival, huh? So I guess they were 14-1 last year, but that one loss was from Rocky Mount High School where you're the head coach, right?
12-point shutout, 12-0 shutout. Hey, it was ugly offensively for Rocky Mount, but we were able to pull it out.
Yeah, we were able to persevere. Now, Coach, we want to talk a little bit about, you know, your story career, but also we wanted to kind of bring it also full circle with this current A&T season. And there is some serious quarterback battles going on right now at A&T. We got not one, not two, not three, but 4 guys battling out for that spot. Jalen Fowler, Hooker, Zach Yeager, and a new kid named Eli Brickhandler, who's got everybody is just in wow with his athleticism. You yourself, when you was at A&T, you know a little bit about quarterback battles, right? Every year you was there, you had to fight for your playing time. What is it like as a player, as a quarterback, just to always kind of have to fight and claw? What give me the mindset of somebody who's in a quarterback battle. What is that like?
It's different. It's different. So you hear a lot of times when you get to the NFL, you hear those guys say they really don't divulge a lot of information to their competition. But at A&T, the time I came in as a freshman, Adon Hall and Rodney Woodruff were ahead of me. And they brought me into the mix. I mean, they did everything they could do to get me prepared and get me up to the point that they were up to. So I always looked at it as the same. So, after my going into my redshirt sophomore year, I had to battle with Keith Matkins and Damian Phillips. I mean, those guys came in, but it was about building camaraderie in that room. Like, we're gonna compete, but it's about everybody in this room being on the same page. Whoever wins, the winner is the winner. So
right.
That year I was able to win it. The next year, Damian Phillips beat me out. So it didn't change our relationship and that quarterback room. Like we're still about the team first.
Right. And I'm sure the fact that all you guys stayed there, y'all were focused, that is in giving that depth to the position helped out the team in the long run.
Yeah, well, Coach Hayes used to say to us all the time, if you don't have but one quarterback, you have no quarterbacks. So we had a room full, and everybody brought a different element. So the same thing you're talking about with the group they got now, like, everybody may bring a different element to the game. I mean, everybody has to know the game plan, but everybody's style is not going to be the same. So gotcha. It's never a bad thing to have First of all, it's never bad to have competition at any position, because the worst thing you can have is somebody feeling comfortable and feeling like they're the guy and nobody can take their job because you can't push that guy. So in that quarterback room, we were always pushed because the next man was always ready to go.
Definitely. So let's talk about that 99 season. So basically, I understand you came to A&T in 98, correct? And you were you redshirted. I think you got sick or something. You had a little illness you was battling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then,
Hold on. It was mono. So I want to make that official. It was mono.
Okay. Yes.
I got it from drinking out the calf cups. So.
Okay. You gonna put it on cafeteria?
Yeah. No. It's not that. I just want to make sure that we all on the same page. I don't want nobody thinking it was anything else. But yeah, I came in and actually my freshman year, before I got sick, I was on the depth chart as number 3, so I was traveling. And then at the end of game 3, I think, going into that next week, I got mono, and Coach Hayes just sent me on for the rest of the year. So that's how my freshman year ended. And from my freshman year going into my sophomore year, I wasn't even gonna play football anymore. Like I just didn't.
You're a 2-sport star. You was a baseball guy, right?
Right. So when spring football came my freshman year, I didn't even participate in the spring because I would play baseball all spring. And then Coach Hayes, and actually I was in a position. I was on football scholarship. Coach Hayes took my scholarship. We sat down and talked about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's a true story. Yeah. If I'm spending more time with those guys, those guys need to be footing the bill. So, I was in limbo of even whether I would come back. And Coach Wayne Hicks caught me on the strip one day during summer school and talked me into coming back. So when I came back that 99 season, I was actually number 5 on the depth chart starting 2-a-day camp. I was number 5.
And Rodney Woodruff was a starter. He was a kid. Was he Spartanburg, South Carolina? And he was a smaller guy, but he was a mobile quarterback. You know, he was running and do a lot of bootlegs and stuff.
He was mobile and he was smart. And he was a big time quarterback coming out of Spartanburg.
Sure was.
So yeah, it was you know, it was a good get for A&T to get Rodney Woodruff at that time. So you know, man.
Hold on, I got to hear the rest of these guys who was ahead of you on the depth chart.
Yeah. Go.
Ben Garrett was Ben Garrett.
No. Adon. So Adon was a senior my freshman year. So it was Rodney Woodruff, Derek Watson, Jared. I can't call Jared last name, but Jared was in front of me, and then also Tim Funderburg.
Tim was
Tim Funderburg out of Charlotte. And you know, it was one of them things like I left, I was number 3, I came back, and you know, to be fair, now that I'm a coach, I see things differently. So, you know, I wasn't there I wasn't there in the spring, wasn't there in the summer. They brought in a new quarterback coach, Coach Hall, JD Hall, and man, I was in the doghouse. I mean, it wasn't a game, like I was in the doghouse. So we would have a whole day or 2-a-day practice. I might get 3 reps the entire day. But
how long did it take you to learn the playbook? How long did it take you to process the playbook?
Well, our playbook was the same as the year before, so I had a good grasp on it. I just wasn't getting the reps, so that's why I learned that, you know, standing on the side, you got to take mental reps and make sure you know, because if I don't get but 3 reps today, I gotta make these 3 reps my best reps. So
that's right.
It was just one of those things. Like every time I got in, I didn't take an opportunity to, you know, get in my feelings about it. It was just, look, you gotta work, you gotta earn it. And it just so happened by the time we went, I think we maybe had our last scrimmage of 2-a-day camp, I went from 5 to 2. It was knowing the system, being able to process things and make reads, and just, you know, get us in the right plays. Because, you know, even at that time, we were more spread out. We were more in a pro set, but we still gonna run the football. So
and that was, if I remember correctly, that was the first year that Hayes officially kind of transitioned from the wing tee to more of a spread, right?
So they did that in 98. So that was the 98 team.
98. So 98, they kind of made that transition. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was the 98 team.
And then 99, the team is rolling pretty good. You know, I think we lost to Elon.
Lost to Elon.
Woo!
Beat up by Elon.
Woo!
Down there in Elon.
We got the brakes beat us by, and that wasn't Elon. That was actually like Williams High School, I think. That was.
It was at Williams. It was at Williams.
Williams. And Doug Brown can appreciate this, because playing for Coach Hayes, knowing how it go, that we took that beating that day, and he brought us back, sat us in the stadium, and talked to us for about 45 minutes. That we had a 12 o'clock curfew that night, and we had Oklahoma that Sunday.
Woo! Oklahoma drills like that.
Now, thank God I was a quarterback, so I didn't get no action. But man, you know, after getting beat up like that, we went out and had Oklahoma the very next day. And you know, hey, we hated it, but it got the mentality where we needed it to be.
So 99, we lose to Elon, but then we start rolling. We upset Hampton at home.
That was my first. Hold on. So before that, we lost to Elon. Then I want to say the next week we went to Norfolk State, and when we went to Norfolk State, we go to Norfolk. We went to Norfolk, and that's when Rodney got hurt. Rodney got hurt
in the third quarter.
Yes, sir. And I came in, and I ended up. I think I threw either 1 or 2 touchdown passes to finish that game, and then you know, they had already deemed Rodney was going to be out the next week. So, you know, they were nervous to kind of start me, because, you know, at that point in time I was still young. Yeah. But man, we went out, we upset Hampton. I mean, and it was in good fashion too. Like
41, we was like 41 or 20 or something like that. It was a beatdown.
Yeah. But the one of the best things about that team, man, I get chill bumps talking about 99 team. We were a team. Like I never played on another team that was closer than that team. Like that team was close. I mean, we bonded. We had goals, we had rules throughout the week. You get your classwork done on Monday, Tuesday, but starting from Wednesday night, everybody got curfew, and coaches ain't got to check it because 11 o'clock, you better be where you be because man, we had great leadership. Darryl Clue was our captain.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Darryl Clue was the guy. Mo Smith was on that team. Mo Smith had the offense. Him and Chad Mann. Even though I was the quarterback, those were the captains for us. Yeah. So man, it was just great camaraderie, and we still pretty tight when we see each other today.
Definitely. You also heard what BJ Little on that team?
Ooh, yes, sir. BJ Little, Dwayne Carpenter, probably one of the best Aggie defenses. Like if you just put them together, I mean, from all three levels, because not only were the starters good, I mean, those guys they were 3 deep at almost every position. Very good players. Yeah,
anywhere you look on that D, man.
Yeah, Sammy Rogers. We had Von Keith Spencer. Von Keith Spencer came off. Yeah, I think he was like the 3rd corner, and he was the number 1 corner coming out of JUCO. So I mean, you just imagine people like that were on that team. Ahmad Blakeney, a lot. I mean, it was dudes on top of dudes everywhere.
And so this team starts
don't
gelling.
sleep on that whole wideout quarter. I gotta shout out my wideouts.
No.
Caldwell.
My roommate Darius Helton.
Yeah.
Chris Caldwell, Steve Ship came in that year. I mean,
he was he transferred that year.
Steve Ship was
okay. Yeah, Florida, right?
Right. Yeah. University of Florida from West Charlotte.
West Charlotte High School.
Ramondo North. I mean, like, it was one of them things. Ramondo North was so fast. Every week, this true story. Every week, Coach Hayes would go in and say, okay, we got to make sure North touches the ball at least 8 times this week. It doesn't matter whether it's kickoff return, hand him the ball on offense, throw it to him. He's got to touch the ball 8 times.
Definitely.
I mean, that's just what we did.
That was that team, super special, man. And I think 99 all across the board was just one of those years in Black college football. FCS wise,
that was the golden era. That was the golden era because
that was the golden era.
And we don't talk about this. You had JSU was dominant. Tennessee State was number 1 team in college football. They were number 1 team in the nation. FAMU
and FAM had a year. Yeah, FAM had a good year. They won 2 playoff games, but the last Aggie to win a playoff game in '99 was Jason Battle at quarterback. So we got to give Jay his flowers, man. We haven't won a playoff game since, and I don't know that other than FAMU making that run. I think that's the last time that we had some schools make a nice run like that. But man, that was a special year, man. Special year.
Well, special group, man. There was a lot of people, a lot of talent on both sides. And one thing that's very overlooked, I got to say it though. Yeah. Very good on special teams.
Great on special teams.
You guys were blocking punts. You guys were returning stuff for touch. I mean, look at the Tennessee State playoff game. You blocked the punt for a touchdown in that game. So
those guys weren't no slouch on special teams. They had Avion Black, who went on and had a nice, successful NFL career as a return man. I think he made the Pro Bowl as a returner. And we shut those guys down.
Yeah.
I think he took one on us. Yeah, he took one back on us. But we served him.
Look, we knew he was fast because Ramondo was the last one chasing him.
Couldn't get him.
But he just had a bad angle. That's all it was.
So Coach, listen here. So 99, you guys start rolling, and I think the fans, because I was a student back then, right? And so we were like, is this going to be one of those special teams? That's what we were saying on the yard. And we homecoming. I think Howard came in here. Y'all beat them 51-0 or something crazy, right? It was just quick. Yeah. And I guess your confidence as a quarterback started to grow with each win. But the elephant in the room was, at the end of the season, we got to face big bad FAMU, and as good as we are, if we don't win this MEAC championship outright, we probably not going to get that at-large bid to the playoffs. So it was kind of like an all end of the season, all of nothing scenario, and FAMU's come to our place. and just talk about that setup and what your mindset was going into that game.
Well, we were prepared, and so we can say, I can say this now. Like I can remember that week, Ramondo North coming in saying, "Look, man, hey, nobody going to class. We're going to watch film. We watching film this week. We watching film. Everybody need to be in the film room." So, I mean, we were locked in as well as we could be. We were very prepared for the moment. I talk about that game a lot because it's one of the greatest atmospheres I played in front of. I mean, both sidelines were rocking, the bands were going, and it was intense. It was very intense.
FAMU brought their band down. They brought like 4 buses worth of band. This is when the March 100 was the marching whatever. They had some numbers.
Yeah.
They could have overthrown a small nation. They came deep. And they had their fans too. That whole fan side was orange and green.
The whole thing, it was loud. It was loud, and probably the most intense game I played in Aggie Stadium. I mean, it meant something to us. So, but like I say, we were prepared. The thing we knew about them was that they were flashy. They like to look good. They didn't want to get hit. They didn't want to play football in the phone booth. And it was very physical from the beginning.
They called it the Gulf Coast offense. They were scoring points in abundance. They had just beat the brakes off of Southern, which was one of the top teams in the SWAC that year. And they went to Baton Rouge and beat them like 60-something to 13 or crazy. It got out of hand quick. And so that was the previous week. So they coming off that win to Greensboro. And they're just kind of like figuring they're just going to walk through A&T, get that MEAC championship, go to the playoffs. But you guys had a different story. And let me, the funny thing is, while I was kind of prepping for this interview, I was looking on the internet, and I want to say like the holy grail of Black college game film surfaced today. I got that 1999 A&T versus FAMU game. Somebody uploaded it to YouTube. Wow. And I have never seen it before this afternoon. I got a clip. This is, I think, this is one of your big plays. Let me make sure this works. You win this play. Then on the next series, we'll play action. Let's Eric Farmer.
Yeah, we probably scored 10 times that year off that play to Eric Farmer.
And so at the time the game was 7-0. They had went down the field on that first drive and they scored. And everybody's like, "Oh shoot, here we go again." But then that busted play where you threw that long pass to was that Caldwell?
Chris
Caldwell, and that just set the tone. Then that Blue Death defense really started setting in there. I think Daryl Clue laid one of their top receivers. He came across the middle, and Daryl Clue laid the lumber.
Jacquay Nunnally.
He was a record-setting receiver, and he got knocked out the game with that hit. He limped back to the sideline, and that set the tone. It was like this. I think at that point they knew it was going to be a different ball game. We ended up winning that game 30-15. I want to say. Was that right? Yeah, 30-15.
Yeah.
And you were a freshman, redshirt freshman, and you are leading this team to a MEAC championship. Tell me what that celebration was like after that game.
Oh man, I was look. Yeah. You know what it was. You know what it was.
That Pastor Troy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's what both fans were playing about the whole game. I mean, it was great, but like now looking back, I can see how special it was. But really, just being there in the moment, man. It really. I didn't know how special a conference championship was in college at that time, so I can appreciate it a whole lot more now, looking back at the things we went through, the things Coach Hayes would talk to us about. And, being able for us to be able to achieve that goal for him and for ourselves, it was big.
there's a picture of him on the sideline, on the middle field when the commissioner presented him a trophy. And he had the biggest Kool-Aid smile I've ever seen from him. He was so because that was kind of like his white whale, like that Moby Dick story. He had been embarrassed by Billy Joe a couple years prior, and they ran up the score, called timeout, try to get some more points. And so he wanted to beat FAMU more than he wanted to beat anybody. And that was kind of like his vision quest. He just kind of had that mentality. I got to beat FAMU. And they had this offense. It was like the immovable force versus the irresistible object, right? They had this offense that no one could slow down, and then we had this blue death defense, and he was the first one to crack the code on that Gulf Coast offense. And so I know how excited he was. And then to turn the keys over to a freshman, and you wasn't just a game manager, you were making plays, man. You were throwing the ball down the field, you were breaking tackles. I mean, really, you helped earn that championship for this program.
Yeah, well, I can't say for sure, but I think our offensive energy changed somehow when I began starting. I don't know, that's not a knock on Rodney or anything, but we went from 21 points or so. I mean, at one point we probably were averaging offensively about 35 points a game, and we were just rolling, like the continuity was there. So plus, hey, Doug forgot to give a shout out to my tight end Marcus Bryson too.
I was going to say, you can't forget about Bryson. He's part of that special teams crew too, man, because he was recovering onside kicks, taking them to the house. I think he did that against Morgan or Tennessee, one of them boys, man. But Bryson was a beast, man, killing them on offense.
Marcus Bryson was different.
So it's funny you brought that name up, because a couple weeks later we get that MEAC championship, we get that playoff bid, but they throw us. We just beat FAMU. They were ranked. We only lost one game the whole season. Youngster Elon, and throw us in the playoffs, and we get a number 16 seed. We going against the number 1 team in the country for all our hard work. That's how they disrespect us. They make us go against another HBCU, Tennessee State, and we had to go to Nashville. And this is the Tennessee's Titan Stadium. This new stadium at the time. We had to go 8 hours to Nashville and play this powerhouse team, right? Undefeated. And like I say, this is another game where everyone counted us out, but the sun shined on us that day. Everything was clicking. Offense, Mo Smith had a bad hammy or something like that. He was limping down the field, busting runs.
Had a deep thigh bruise.
Deep thigh bruise. We special teams blocked the kick for a touchdown. Blue Death started putting quarterbacks out. They was out there. They had like that 8th Street quarterback by the end of the game, because we was knocking guys left and right. But Mr. Jason Battle, you were not just along for the ride. You were making things happen. Let me show you this play right here to help this offense get back on the board. There you go.
Bryson.
That's your guy. That's your guy.
Marcus Bryson. Hey, that's a 6'6" tight end.
Whew. Hey, that's awesome.
Hey, look. The funny part about this play is he runs the wrong route.
That's right again.
Yeah, he's supposed to sit down, but he don't see nobody behind him, so he keeps running. And took the ball to himself and caught it.
So me and my roommates, man, we actually made that 8 hour. It's a long drive. Craig, that's a long drive. We actually made that drive to Nashville for that game, and we brought some signs and everything. We was hyped, man. Because like
you're talking about a time when I was a fan. I mean, and for me, having a chance to. 99 is easily that year the best year ever. And this is pre-Celebration Bowl era. It was one of those games. If you was there. You were happy you made the trip. Like, man, that was great. Because it wasn't no Celebration Bowl at the end of the season, right? So I think I was in the high school playoffs. We played in Asheville that night, left the game to drive to Nashville so we could be there, man. That was that important to be at that game, man, and to support the Aggies. So, man, as a high school fan, I'm cheering for Jason. It's like, man, that's the quarterback. That's my guy. So having a chance to play with him down the road, man, was truly a dream come true. But that Tennessee State game, it still stands up there. Is easily a top 3 game in my mind.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's like I say, that's still the only playoff win in school history. Yeah. And it just kind of this it just solidified everything about Coach Hayes. I think it put a bow on kind of his career. And then it made guys like Maurice Smith a household name. It's funny how 1 year, one football season can make you live in history. Like people will always know the name Jason Battle. You know, if they don't know anything else, they gonna think of 99, that championship.
That's right.
And he was the guy who was running the show. So I mean, you always have that, man.
Oh wow, well thank you. I had no idea. I was the guy just taking the snaps, making sure Mo Smith and E. Farmer got it.
But Jay, man, you talk about, you know, your playmaking ability and kind of some of the excitement you brought to the team, and I think it really started there with that Norfolk game when you came in and threw those 2 touchdowns, and everybody's like, man, who was that guy? You know, where'd he come from? Because you brought such a, you know, like you said, that excitement, spinning around, throwing the ball, breaking sacks, evading defenders. Tell me, from your era, who was someone that you pattern your game after, or someone you consider, you know, a similar style quarterback, or who did you try to pull pieces from to kind of build your game?
So growing up, man, I used to love Randall Cunningham. I love to watch Randall Cunningham.
That's my comp.
And you know, I'm a Washington fan, so you know it was tough, but man, I love Randall Cunningham. You know, that's kind of who I wanted to be. I grew up wearing number 12, and you know, always trying to get the helmet like him, because you know he played the game at that point in time. You know, he was the athletic quarterback. Like, you know, you had people like Warren Moon that could just spin it, but Randall Cunningham made plays, just regardless of how it may have come out. It wasn't always with his arm, but he just made a play. So, you know, that was kind of my mentality, was just continue to move the sticks, make a play.
But look,
awesome,
and you definitely made plays on that football field, but your story does not end there, really. And you were one of the most impressive 2-sport athletes this school's ever seen. So when you weren't playing football, you was on that you was on that on that baseball field, and you were not just a guy, you were one of the best players in the Mid-East Athletic Conference. Recently, I guess you were named to the 50th anniversary all-time MEAC team. You were one of 50 guys selected to be on that team. I guess, and let me give you some of your accolades here. You were the 2001 MEAC Player of the Year, and you made first team all MEAC 3 different years, 2000, 2001, 2002. Coached by that legendary Coach Shoemate. Just tell me about that baseball aspect of your game, man. And was that something you was always doing in Little League? Were you always a baseball first guy? Where did that love develop?
I started playing baseball when I was probably 3 years old. I was playing T-ball. And I just realized this recently when one of my former teammates, we were talking. I never realized as a baseball player, I never played with my age group. So I always played with my older brothers and things like that. So when I was playing with my age group, you know, I kind of excelled because the game was a little bit slower then. And that was one of the reasons I chose A&T, because that was the only school giving me an opportunity to play both. And I was an MLB, I was an MLB prospect coming out of high school to be drafted. But you know, I didn't know how to play the game then. Like I remember talking to the draft scout, and he asked me like, which sport do you love more? I said I love football more. If I had a chance to play football today, like that's where I'm going. And you know that counts.
Wrong answer. Because they want to invest in you, right?
Right. And I didn't play the game well. And then once I got to A&T, all I could do was do what I had been known to do. And it still didn't necessarily work out for me in the long run. You know, same thing though. If I would have ever left playing football and just concentrated on that one thing, you know, my career as a baseball player may have been different, but I don't regret it at all because of the relationships I built as a football player. Like, because if I would have done that, Doug Brown and myself would have never played together.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be selfish. I'm glad you chose football.
Absolutely.
Because like I said, part of my college, just memory was that 99 year. Like my Aggie experience would not have been the same without what you guys did that year. I mean, to actually be able to stick our chests out with all of the other HBCU students in the country and say, we are HBCU national champions. We beat FAMU. We beat the #1 Tennessee State. That's something you did. That's your sacrifice, and it affected everybody. It affected my friends. I mean, we went crazy in that apartment when y'all made that run. It was like, I mean, it was larger than life, you know, and that's something that no one can ever take away from us.
No, absolutely not. And we still talk about it. I mean, everything about that year was special. Everything. One thing that people don't know, of course, is just Doug will understand what I'm saying. Our practice schedule, like during that season, it would like rain every Wednesday. So we would end up in the gym where we wasn't necessarily beating on each other every Wednesday. You know, it was kind of like a downtime. So we would have a mental day every week, you know, and it's very subtle, but how much it just helped us stay healthy throughout the year. So, I mean, it was everything, the stars aligned for that team that year.
Well, I tell you what, man, you talked about, you know, the stars aligning, and you talk about, you know, building relationships and having teammates. But I think the most important relationship you build at A&T, you haven't spoken on yet. And most people that know you well know that you know, had a hell of a career at quarterback and you were a good baseball player, but clearly you outkicked your coverage when you landed your spouse, man. And we talk about your maturity as well. You were one of those guys that we looked up to in school, because Jay was the guy, man. He had a girl, he had going on. He was the quarterback, but he truly led by example, and that's tough to navigate as a college student. Tell us what it was like, man, in your college years, and take us through that time, man.
You still there? He freeze up on us? I think he probably froze up on us, man. Uh-oh.
I don't know. He might not want to touch on that question. That's what
talking about
he
how
knows
he
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Doug kind of went out on me.
Oh, you back? Okay. Yeah, you kind of broke up a little bit. He was asking you about meeting your wife. Can you hear us? Oh, man, shoot. He was about to get started. All right. So, Jason, I'm gonna kick you out, and we're gonna try to bring you back. So, let me see. There you go. So we're gonna bring him right back when he gets situated. Let me
Man, I had no idea that Coach Hayes took my man's scholarship.
Yeah. You know what? I was gonna ask him, because I was gonna ask him about if there was a kind of a friction between Coach Shoemate and Coach Hayes, because you know coaches are really territorial.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
When you got a star on, you know, football and baseball, you want them for yourself. So that must have been.
It may have factored in. It may have factored in those following years. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, though, man. JB could spin it, man. I tell you what, that baseball, you know, the ball comes off guys like that hands different. You know, JB, he had touch, but most of the time he was going to zoom it to you to make sure you knew who was throwing it. All right, he showed off that arm my freshman year. You know, again, he was in a room full of quarterbacks, and you know, everybody wasn't as developed as Jason was at that point in time. We had Jason Douglas, who was a JUCO guy that came in from California.
2002, right? It was 2002.
Yeah, 2002.
Okay.
It was Battle senior year. You had Marshall Glenn, who came in as a true freshman, who Hayes, you know, touted as a guy who was going to play. So he shared the quarterback room with those guys. But JB let it know who had the strongest arm, and the receivers knew, you know, when he threw that ball, man, you better have your gloves on. You know, that's when I started wearing gloves full time. I used to still wear tape when I got to college. I was like, well, you better get some gloves on. You coming home with blisters every day. JB spinning it.
Now forget all that. Hey,
JB threw me my first touchdown pass, man.
Hey, Coach, what type of route runner was this guy? Tell me now. Give me the scout report on Doug Brown, because you had to throw to him. Was he where he needed to be at all times?
Yeah. He didn't have excellent speed. He had good speed, but he was a route technician.
Okay.
So
okay.
He was gonna run very good routes.
That's what he said.
Find opening. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll take that.
He did that. Yeah.
Well, it got worse after that, JB. The routes got worse. I was just trying to run where they ain't. You know, I run where they open. That was the year. Now, JB mentioned, man, JB lost his offensive coordinator weeks before camp that senior year, right? Gerber left, and Hicks left, you know, which would have been your senior year. So we ended up bringing in Ferg came in. It's his first time being the OC, and implemented his new spread offense, which had no checks, no checkouts. Right, you ran the route you were supposed to run. So looking back, like you said, JB, you realize how important it is to be where you're supposed to be and how that affects the next guy. But by the end of the season, man, I was lining up. People wasn't on me. I just turned around. I'm open. Just throw me the ball, man. So we worked it out. Yeah. But I had a ball playing with JB. He led by example, whether he was on or off the field. Led those quarterback guys. And to hear JB talk about taking those mental reps, that's something I remember him preaching, not only to the quarterback room 4 years later when he was a senior, but also to the rest of the offense. Take those mental reps. We spent some time on the sideline, and when you're not the guy out there sometimes and you aren't getting those reps, it's tough. It's easy to get lost in the sauce. And he was the first guy that kind of showed me how to study the game and pay attention to what's going on. Because we had a bunch of receivers and a bunch of guys that were playing, and those mental reps came up big.
That's it. Mm-hmm. All right, so Jason, man, I know you got a busy schedule, and look, we're gonna bring you back here, and we're gonna do it when it's not game week, because I got some questions about some more games. I want to do a deep dive into some Bill Hayes stories. I know you got a whole bunch of them, because you was
I'm loaded.
Yeah, I know everybody. I'm loaded. Everybody who played with Hayes got stories, but especially those 99 guys. Because that was it. Man. That was
it's so many. It's so many. I have to be careful of what I put out there, because
right.
Because Coach Hayes, that's my guy. That's my guy. So I don't mean anything that I would say is a fact. It did happen, but it's not a negative. Like, that's right. I'm just speaking the truth of the things that happened back then. So yeah, I got plenty of Coach Hayes stories. Plenty.
Well, look here, you got a big game this Friday night. You play Tarboro and what's it, the Vikings? Tarboro Vikings. And
the Vikings.
It's a road game or home game. Y'all home or away this week?
No, we're away, but it's like a 15-minute ride.
Okay, so that's a cross-town ride. Okay, gotcha. Well, best of luck, man. Definitely gonna be hoping you guys have a great season. And we're gonna find out your schedule when it's a little bit, you get like a little bye week or something. We're gonna try to bring you back, talk about some more of that golden era, that 1999 A&T football. But like I said before, man, you guys, you're legends, and you the things you guys accomplished in that 1 year, it kind of put us on a trajectory of being the powerhouse that we consider ourselves now. We wouldn't have that run with Broadway and Washington if not for you guys setting that foundation.
Well, can I ask a question then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can anybody chime in? Why did it take so long before we were celebrated?
Okay. But you talking about from who? Officially university or from the fans?
Yeah. I'm just saying university. From the university. Okay. So they didn't bring that team back. They celebrated other championship teams before they ever recognized that 99 team.
Okay, so I was thinking they had brought y'all back in 10 years. They didn't do the 10-year anniversary? They didn't do the 10-year? They didn't.
Nah,
okay.
They brought us back against Central right before that was 2019, I think.
Really? That long?
2019.
Okay. Okay, so they did the 20th year.
20-year anniversary.
Okay, well,
we can't speak for that. And all I know is that we was coming out of a dark era.
Look.
As far as Blue Death Valley,
they might have burned the books.
I hear you. Listen. As far as Blue Death Valley goes, we got an article right now where we interviewed Daryl Clue, and we talked about, it's called When We Were Kings, and we talked about that 99 season. Right there, that's probably about I think it was the 10-year anniversary. We talked to Daryl Clue, but you're right though, and like I say, there needs to be some type of, if they're not going to do a statue, they need to at least do that stadium art they do now with the wallpaper. They need to put something on the field house or inside the tunnels where they show that 99 the HBCU national championship team, because that was the one that really, Doug, you came walk right off the heels of that.
That's why I came to A&T, those guys, man.
That set the standard. That set the standard. Definitely. All right, Coach. Well, hey, look,
we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that.
Yeah. Hey, look, just check into it.
Well, hey, the guy in the top right, he's the president of the Greensboro chapter of the AAF, so he got a lot of pull. So we're gonna see if he can work his mojo and get some stuff done. But we're gonna make sure you guys are taken care of, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Hey, look, we're just glad to know. We're just glad to know. We are champions.
Definitely.
And look, it go back to what's above the rim. They can't take what we was, baby. They can't take what we was.
Always.
What we was.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll talk to you a little bit later, man. Have a great week,
y'all.
Appreciate it.
That was the legendary Jason Battle, quarterback and baseball star for A&T. I guess he got there in 98 and finished up right at 2002 with Mr. Doug Brown. He was your quarterback.
That's my guy, man.
You caught a touchdown pass from him?
I caught one from him.
Okay.
I caught one from him. That was my first one. Like I said, it was against Norfolk. It's ironic that his breakout was against Norfolk, and then being able to connect with him against Norfolk years later, man, was special to me. It might have been special to anybody else, but in my head, it was like catching a touchdown pass from one of your heroes, man. Like, because you got to think, 99, I'm what, a junior or sophomore in high school. So I'm still, all I know is still just being a fan of A&T. I hadn't transitioned to being a player or being a coach or back to being a fan again. So I was still just a big fan. I wasn't a fan of NFL squads at that time. It was all A&T. So you got to imagine him being the face of the program and how he showed up as a quarterback. And again, he's one of those guys that I was like, I'm going to A&T, man. Jason Battle will be my quarterback. I'll be playing with guys like him and Curtis DeLoach. And that was good enough for me. So that's how I ended up in there. That's why I still love those guys, man.
Craig, real quick, what's your favorite Jason Battle memory? You watched him his whole career. What stands out? What play or moment?
Probably when we upset Hampton, because I think everybody was saying, well, the Norfolk game, he came in, made a few plays, but we really wanted to see what he was going to do against the defending MEAC champions at that time.
Right. Yeah.
And he picked them apart. I mean, that game, that entire game, we dominated the offensive end of it from beginning to end. And the Hampton people just like, I remember the Hampton folks came and set up in the reserve section, bought reserve seats, and they were talking trash. They were they were steadily talking trash.
Right.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Man, they were just giving it to us because they had beat us pretty good, I think, the year before. And when I think Jason did a quarterback option play in the red zone, just left the guys, strung them out. It sounded like 4 or 5 Hampton guys just grabbing. He switched direction on them, didn't lay a hand on him. He walked into the end zone, and I just turned around and looked, and don't leave now. It's just getting good. Don't leave now. You asked for it, you gonna get it. That was really the game, I think, that really set the tone, even more so than the Norfolk game. That game right there gave them all the confidence, and they rolled after that. There was no contest after that. The rest of the season was a walk.
Man, I was there. I was at that game, man. I was surprised because, like I say, everyone on campus was talking about that Norfolk game was good because that was on TV. I think that was on BET, and we watched that and we're like, that Norfolk game was good, but Hampton's a different animal. But they came to our place and we jumped on them early, and it was, the floodgates opened quick on that game. But that was Jason Battle. I definitely want to link up with him again. He has a high school football, Doug. This is high school football season, man. Like coming about tomorrow.
Hey, and he's a heck of a coach too, man.
I'm
glad to see him out there making an impact, But it's one of, you can see it coming. He used to coach us up, and like I said, I don't think he started. I don't know if he did not play his last game, which was at South Carolina State, which was against South Carolina State in Atlanta. Buddy Pugh's first game coaching against Bill Hayes or against A&T. And the funny thing is, the announcers are predicting, how the future battles between Buddy Pugh and Bill Hayes, right? Who would have thought then that would have been their only time matching up, and that Buddy would go on to have those nice runs, because I think they won 3 or 4 the next championships. Them in Hampton, they were in the mix. So But yeah, he didn't play the last game. I remember he was holding snaps. He was holding extra points. But, you know, he was disgruntled a little bit, but he should have been. You know, it's because he's a competitor and he wanted to be out there. And it's not the way.
Was that game in Atlanta?
It was in Atlanta. It was in the old Georgia Dome. Yeah. So it was a tough way to go out, man. Again, it was the end of the Hayes era, but it was, you know, a new chapter. And he closed it out. And like you said, he's Coach Hayes' guy, and I'm glad that he was able to lead that team, the 99 team, to that championship, Coach Hayes' last championship.
Gotcha. So yeah, that was Jason Battle. We got one more special guest coming in tonight, and we wait for him to get back here. He's running a little behind, but we got a special guest and another one of Doug's old teammates. But real quick, Craig. So right now we got the Fun Fest event on Saturday, and camp is heating up. And I guess a lot of these position battles are coming down to the wire, right?
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to make a determination on who's gonna be the top guy in a lot of different places by, I guess, Friday or Saturday, right? That's when they're gonna have to start writing the stuff on the depth chart, right?
Yeah. You start game prep and start putting in your game plan and going through repetitions, getting ready to, you know, for Central. It's a coin flip, especially I think it's a coin flip it's going to be a coin flip in the offensive line. It's going to be a coin flip at quarterback, and it's probably going to be a coin flip at one or two of those secondary spots. They've got some depth out there. They got some really good athletes out there, and these guys been going at it real hard. So, you know, I don't like to get into trying to predict who's going to do what and who's going to be the starter. But I'll tell you this: it's better to be in a situation where you've got tough decisions to make going into those, you know, last 2 weeks before the season than to not have any at all and say, you know, we're gonna have to ride this horse no matter what happens. We've been there before, and it didn't work out too well. So
it's gonna be interesting, man, and I can't wait. We're gonna solve a lot of questions pretty soon. But before we go any further, I want to go ahead and bring you our last guest tonight. Another one, Doug. This is like Doug's show, man. Like, you know, this is your life, Doug.
Memory lane. Yeah.
This guy, he played on the other side of the field on that defense, and he had a storied career too. I mean, we got some heavy hitters tonight. This guy also happened to be somebody who took you on your first tour at A&T, right, Doug? Was he your chaperone when you first got there?
Hey, yeah, man. He hosted me on my visit. He and the great Joey Lance hosted me on my visit.
Okay.
Man. We had a lot of fun for a little bit of time. We got to hang out in the Corbett Sports Arena.
Well, without further ado, let me bring in legendary defensive back, Mr. Curtis DeLoach. Curtis.
Kurt.
Hey,
there he is.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, he is.
Good, man.
So you're in the trophy room, huh? You got.
I'm in the basement, man. I'm in the basement.
Good deal. First of all, thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate you taking the time out. We just want to take a quick trip down memory lane. We close to a new football season, and like we were talking about before, we got a lot of position battles. We got some new cornerbacks in here. Last year, our secondary was getting exposed, and Coach Washington, you know, he's a defensive back by nature. He brought in some reinforcements. We got a couple of new guys and kind of shoring up that area. One of our new guys is a guy named Karan Prunty. He's a transfer from Kansas, and he's a long guy. And he kind of, I can't say I ain't seen him play yet with, you know, live bullets, but his frame kind of reminds me of you. You were 6'2", 6'3". You were a tall defensive back. Man, Just tell me how is it being that long and rangy playing in the cornerback position? Because that's usually not something. Yeah. When you were there, you kind of were trying to change the game by your size, right?
Yeah. It was crazy, man. Because when I came in, Coach Hart was, I don't know, 5'8". So he was like, yo, like, you play safety or corner? I was like, corner. And he was like, okay. But at that time, there was no tall corners at all. Like, there were none.
Right. In college football, really. Yeah. Like you were like, yeah.
When I started doing it more and more, and he was like, man, you very athletic, and I always had quick feet because I wasn't always this tall. See, I didn't get tall till late. Like, I didn't get tall till like going into my junior year. I was just always short and quick. So as I got taller, I never really lost that quickness, So I mean, I don't think nobody knew that I would play DB, but at the same time, you had what's your guy down at Bethune? Rasheem Mathis was tall. He was at safety, so he was at safety. But then when he got to the league, he went to corner. Yeah. So and then it was me, Rasheem Mathis, the kid from Boston, Lenny. I think it was like Lenny Walls or somebody like that. So like that era started turning with tall corners, man. So I mean, I'm glad it worked out. So.
But see that now that's what everybody want, like that whole Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I feel like we were the Legion of Boom before that because you had me. You had me at 6'3", Horton at 6'2". You had J Mac. You had Eddie Ravenel. You had Montreal Pittman. Like, to me, that was the best secondary to ever come through A&T. That's just my opinion. Like, that just well, and then I mean, God rest his soul. You had Charles Harper that came in there.
Yeah.
We had some people back there in the secondary, man. We really did.
And so, okay, let's separate fact from fiction because I was doing some research and I don't know what's urban legend, what's real. So what I saw is said you actually came to A&T, you were a walk-on, but when you came to A&T, you didn't have a scholarship, you didn't have a dorm, you didn't have classes. You just came.
Literally, you just showed up.
You just showed up.
So, like, my senior year was over, graduated high school, man. And my granddad was like, where you going? What you going to do? I said, I'm going to go work at the shipyard. There's a place in Newport News, Virginia called the Shipyard. That's where my granddad worked at. I said, that's where I'm going. He was like, nah, that ain't happening. He said, you better pick a school somewhere in North Carolina. So I remember all my friends was like, well, I'm going to A&T. I said, well, let's go to A&T. We literally drove to A&T, went to the admissions office, walked in there. He was like, I want my son to go to school. They was like, you got any paperwork or anything? He's like, all I have is his test score. I didn't have a transcript. It's all we have is his test scores. So the ladies was back there whispering and huddling up, and the ladies was like, I don't know, because these test scores ain't. So the lady came out back, promise you, and I think she pulled my granddad's bluff. She was like, if you can play his first semester tuition, we'll accept him today. And this was back, I don't know if y'all remember, behind the stadium was a Wachovia back there behind him.
Yes,
he went to Wachovia and got a check and came back and was like, give my son a room. I had nothing. Man. I went to Cooper Hall, walked on Cooper Hall, and back then in 99, Cooper Hall is not the Cooper Hall now.
No.
I got a dorm room. I had no classes. So the first day of classes, I had to go back to the admissions office. They gave me classes that day. And it was crazy, man. Like, my grandma going to give me $50 and said, don't let me down. And that was it.
$50, don't let me down.
So, okay, so you had to be a little bit nervous, scared, or whatever. And I guess at some point you make your way to the football office and like, I want to try out for the football team.
You know what? It didn't happen that way. So we had a running back named Detron Powell that was very good. Mm-hmm. He was getting recruited by A&T. He went to A&T and he ended up like dropping out in like September, right? So I was walking across campus one day and Wayne Hicks saw me. Coach Wayne Hicks saw me and was like, hey, I know you. And I'm like, what's up? He was like, where you play football at? I said, Hertford County. He was like, what was your football number? And I was like 17, left it alone. He comes to my class the next day and pulls me out of class. I'm like, hey, on spring tryouts, we want you to come out. And I remember walking out there, I had no cleats. And I remember Ahmad Blankney, Booker T, they was clowning me. It was like, yo, who this dude with these big shoes on? And like literally, we ran like some sprints or something, man. And Coach Hayes like, hey man, hey, come here. He's like, what's your name? I told him like Curtis DeLoach. He was like, I like you. So like Coach Hayes, if it wasn't for like Wayne Hicks going to Coach Hayes, literally going to Coach Hayes and Coach Hayes just giving me an opportunity, man. And like I don't know what he saw in me because I didn't really do nothing in practice, like in the tryouts. I just ran fast. That was it. And whatever. And then he just gave me the opportunity. And then the rest just kind of took off from there, man. Like, I mean, it seems like I always had an opportunity because when I was on the team, I didn't play until Chris Caldwell got hurt. And we had no other punt returner but him. There was the only punt returner. So Coach Hart was like, go back there and return punts. I said, man, I can't. I said, all right, cool. So I'm returning punts in practice. And it was the first night game in A&T history against Norfolk State. And I went back there and Coach Hart said, everything they punt to you, you catch and return it. And like the first punt return I got, I think I returned like 60 yards. They called it back. Then I returned it again like 50 and then got tackled. And everybody was like, Chris DeLoach. Well, I guess they used to saying Chris Caldwell. So after that, I ain't really played DB until we played Hampton. I ended up getting an interception. And it was just kind of like, you know what, we got to find a way to get this kid on the field. So, I mean, thankful for Coach Hayes, man.
And so this was the year 2000, right? So you got that 99, and I guess you just kind of redshirted and tried out 2000. Yeah. You got on the field, and did Coach Hayes Wayne Hicks, the defense coordinator, did they consider you playing you as like a safety? That were you always going to be that cornerback?
Always. You know, the only position they tried to change me to was a receiver.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I show up. You know, of course, by this time, DeLoach is DeLoach, right? He's DeLoach. So I'm like, well, we got defense squared away. You know, Coach, I'm getting recruited. Coach, we're going to change the offense. We're going to do this and that. We're going to start throwing it around. Now, I ain't believing Coach Hayes. Anyway, I sign. I show up the spring game or spring practice. I'm ready to hang out. I'm asking for, playbook. I look up. Curtis DeLoach is coming in motion, getting jet sweeps and catching passes. I'm like, Coach, is something we got to talk about? Like, you didn't tell me the man was going to be playing both ways on offense, but it was short-lived. Luckily, it may have been because Coach Gerber got gone. Luckily, he went on back to the other side of the ball. Right?
Hey, we was playing it was short-lived. We played South Carolina State. They was like, all right, we'll give you a jet sweep. I was like, all right, cool. Man, I got the handoff. I came around that corner, and that DN lit me up, and I fumbled. Coach Hayes was like, put him back on the other side.
Hey, so look here. 2000, though, you came in there, and you made some plays because you were the MEAC Rookie of the Year, 2000. Yeah. And I think you give me some stats. You remember your stats back then? You had how many interceptions that year?
I think it was 2. It was like 2 interceptions. I had like 3 block kicks. I had like a couple of touchdowns. And I think what was happening, it was like I always made a big play in a big moment. That's what was crazy. Yeah. It was always like, okay, we needed an interception. I just helped him get an interception. And I think what broke out, we played FAMU at FAMU in 2000. And we needed a big play. And they punted the ball, and I scooped it up and ran. And I don't know why I didn't score. I got tackled by the punter. But anyway.
Man.
No. I got all the way down to like the 20-yard line and everything. And then we end up going ahead and winning. And I ended up blocking the kick that game. And I think that's what kind of sealed the deal for me in that year because I ended up blocking the kick that tied up. So,
and see, people who don't remember watching DeLoach in action, this is going to sound crazy, but the comp I always had was Randy Moss because you guys were tall and y'all had the same type of stride. It don't look like you running fast. Like it never looked like you was running hard, but you were always distancing yourself from people. They could not catch up.
They used to call me Cadillac, man. I don't know why. They used to call me Cadillac, man. They like you like a Cadillac.
Clips.
He gone, man. I was like, hey, I have no idea, man. That stride, man, something different, man.
And so you MEAC Rookie of the Year, and in 2001 was really your coming out party because that's when you just start putting up crazy stats, man. Yeah. First team, 1AA. This wasn't FCS back then. It was 1AA. You was first team All-American.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to say you had 5 punt returns that season. You set the NCAA record. Yeah. 5 punt returns for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay, you were also the MVP of the Peach State Classic when we went to Atlanta and played Jackson State. And all those people who love Coach Prime understand that A&T is 3-0. We have never lost to Jackson State. The first time we played them was in Atlanta, and Curtis DeLoach, this guy right here, he not only did he return the punt, I think it was the first punt in the game, 70 yards. He also had a 61-yard interception return. So you were the MVP of that game, and you're talking about this is like I say, this is part of that golden era of HBCU football. There was so much, especially as a fan on the internet, there was so much back and forth with the MEAC and the SWAC, and for two teams like that to meet up in a neutral site, and for us to prevail.
Jackson State was loaded in. They were loaded in.
They had Robert Kent,
receiver.
I think they had 3 receivers that was over 6'4".
Yeah.
They had what was the quarterback name that was real good?
Robert Kent.
Yep.
So I remember going into that game, man. Like, that's why I said between me, Horton, and McCord, they didn't catch nothing. Like, they didn't catch nothing. I'm telling you, they didn't catch anything that game, man. But Coach Hicks did a good job with the game plan, man. Like, he put a game plan together, and we played. People don't know this either. When we was there, we didn't play zone. I don't even think we played man-to-man press every single play when we was there. Every single play that year. Every single play, man. And what was crazy about that game, though, that was the game Hicks got hurt.
That was the Bo Hicks game,
That was his last game at A&T.
And Coach Hayes came in the locker room and said, somebody else got to win this game and everything. And I remember Mo Smith walked up to me, because I think Mo Smith was with the Falcons then, I think.
Yep. He was in Atlanta.
He walked up to me. He said, look, I know you got your little spattered up Jordans on out there. But if you want people to remember you, you got to make some plays out here. And I was like, I play defense. In my mind, I'm thinking I play defense. But my idol growing up was always Dion. Like, I don't know, like every interception I got, I try to return it for a touchdown. It didn't matter where I was at on the field. And at that time, it still didn't dawn on me like the things that I was accomplishing. It still didn't really like dawn on me what I was accomplished at that time in my career at all. Was not,
So 2001, man, we that's when Hicks got hurt. And Craig, I swear, that's one of those teams I would have loved to see in the playoffs because
that
was when Hayes kind of opened up the offense a little bit. So we had Hicks who was hitting those home runs. Yeah. But I think who was it? Damian Phillips was quarterback at the time.
I think it was D Fields. It was between D Fields and I think they were switching back and forth. I can't remember who the other was. D Fields.
Right. And Jason Bauer was there. He was in battle. Yeah. So he was still there, I think. But we our offense was scoring a lot of points. I think we put like 80 points or 70 some points on Howard.
Hampton. No, was
that Hampton at home? Yeah. No, he's right. Before halftime.
It was Howard. It was like 60-something to 0 at halftime.
Right. It was crazy. I mean,
that game's on YouTube.
We were beating the brakes off of folks. And when Hicks got hurt, it's kind of threw us back. I think we still had who was my guy? Michelle Hollingsworth was the running back.
Michelle.
Hey,
do y'all even know the Maurice Hicks story though? Like, do y'all really know his story, how he came about?
Tell us, share it.
So Hicks came. He was a transfer, right? Came in.
Right.
He was in there lifting weights. He couldn't do 225 3 times. No lie. We was in practice, and he was killing the defense in practice. So Coach Hicks was like, I don't know what y'all looking at, but that's our star running back right there. Like, Hicks didn't start playing till like the 3rd or 4th game of the year.
The Morgan State game. He had that 70-yarder. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I have never seen a running back that every time he touched the ball, it looked like he was going to keep his head on the goalpost. I've never seen that. Every single time he touched the ball, I thought he was going to score. Every single time, man. It's
okay, so that's what BJ Little said. Isn't that what BJ brought up? How he gave him the work in practice?
Okay, so real quick, this is all about you. But since you brought this up, do you remember the Morgan State game where he had the 432 yards in one game? And it was like every time he had a handoff, it was 80 yards.
Yes, man, dude, it was ridiculous, man. It was. I had never seen nothing like that, never, and we still lost that game. But anyway,
yeah. So look here. So Curtis, at this time, you kind of like building a national name for yourself. You know, first team All-American. Everybody's putting you on their draft board, right? Finish up. You have some good seasons. Before we go to your NFL career, tell me, as far as that MEAC competition, who were some of the toughest receivers that you had to go against? Because you had like Zuriel Smith against you at Hampton.
Yeah.
Who was the kid at Bethune-Cookman? You had some guys who lined up against you with some super guys.
I would say probably Zuriel Smith from Hampton.
Yeah.
And that's because he was a savvy route runner. Like, he wasn't fast, he wasn't pretty, but he would him and his quarterback just clicked. He was a savvy route runner. He was unorthodox, little puny, skinny guy. Probably like Robert Anderson out there right now. But I mean, like, I would say him. I can't think of this kid's name, man. At Delaware State, man. He looked like Shannon Sharp playing receiver. Yo, what was his name? Yo?
He ended up playing in the league.
McCants.
He was a big swole dude, man. And I for some reason I could not get around him, man. Like, every time he was, I could not tackle him, man. And him, trying to think who else, man. The tight end for Morgan State, for some reason they put me on him. Visante Shanko.
Oh yeah. He went to the league too, right?
Yeah, I played with him with the Giants. We was teammates. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We was teammates, man. We was teammates. Yeah.
Okay, so Doug dropped off. We could bring him back in there. So, but listen, you had a storied career at A&T, and you played through 9/11, right? Didn't 2001? Y'all had a game that year, and then
a game. Man. You know what's crazy about 9/11, man? I was in Cooper Hall, and my classes was right next door at Price, right next door at Smith. And I was walking into, and we used to have a TV right there in the middle. And I seen everybody looking up at the TV screen. And at that time, I was young. I really didn't know what was going on in the world. And I was like, what's going on there? Somebody hit the Twin Towers. And I was like, honestly, I was just like, oh, okay. And it didn't dawn on me till we got to practice.
Exactly what that meant.
And they started talking about it. And I'm sitting there like, are you serious? They cancel practice, everything. They cancel practice and everything, man. And it's crazy, man, how that happened at that moment in time. And I was so young, and honestly, I didn't really know what was going on in the world, how that would actually impact the football season and everybody's lives. And it didn't, man. It really didn't. I really didn't even think.
Y'all was supposed to play Delaware State that week, and so they rescheduled it to the end of the season. Yeah, and then you end up, I think, returning a punt back for a touchdown in that game, right?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
That was when I broke the record. I didn't even know it was a record, right? I didn't even know it was a record at that time. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Wow. So, and it's funny because you talk about 9/11, but you played through two historic events. When you got to the NFL, so you were free agent acquisition by the Giants, and they made that roster, played there for a couple of years, beat my Cowboys one year. I think you had an interception I was mad about in the middle of the field. So that was one of your NFL picks was against the Cowboys. Then you get Doug back in here.
Yeah.
Then so we talk about this NFL now. So then you go to New Orleans, right? And this was right after Katrina.
Yeah.
And as we know, I was in Houston when Katrina happened. So I remember the buses of people coming in from the Superdome, and they were being housed at the time in the old Astrodome. Yeah. And so people don't understand, but it's almost like somebody dropped a bomb on the city of New Orleans. That's how devastated it was.
Man, let me tell you something, man. That it was funny. We was talking about 9/11, but to talk about this, anybody I talked to, that there changed my life and perspective on everything. Seeing what I saw, everything, because I was in training camp with the Giants. They was trying to trade me. It was like a 3-team trade between Cleveland, the Giants, and Baltimore. And it didn't happen. I was on a plane flying to Raleigh because it was like in the training camp. We got like a couple of days off. Landed. The coach called me and was like, Curtis, couldn't trade you. Sorry, we'll have to release you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hung up. Phone rang. It's the Saints. Telling me they got a flight for me. We coming down there. I was like, man, I don't want to go to no sorry New Orleans. I'm going to go down there. That was my mindset. I get to New Orleans. It was dark. And they put me in a hotel room. When I woke up that next morning and I went there and what I saw, I was like, I was literally scared. I ain't going to lie to you. I was scared because I had never seen anything like that. went to practice, and then throughout the season, we would go to people's houses, help them clean up and everything. You know, walk in people's houses and see the water line at the top of the ceiling, to see like the X's and the numbers and everything, and just hearing some of the people's stories. And I tell people this story all the time. It was a guy that we met who was helping him clean his house. It was him, his wife, and 3 children. They went up to the attic, and the water came in and knocked them off one of the beams in the attic. And he was able to pull himself back up and put his wife up there and his kids up there. He was holding on. His wife slips, and she says, "Let me go and hold on to the kids. I catch on to the next beam." He never saw her again. Never saw her again. Never saw her again. And I mean, if that didn't impact people's lives, just to see that people literally lost everything. Everything. I mean, you had people houses 2 blocks down the road, man. And that's why I'm so glad I was be a part of that history, that 2006 year, because the city of New Orleans needed that. They really needed it after that 2005 Hurricane Katrina, man. They really did.
You talk about driving through town and you see those X's on the houses, and that was to identify if there's any bodies.
Yeah.
That were stuck in the house that they couldn't get to, and they would just have to put a marker.
Yes.
And you're seeing that in real. This is not something like you watching on a documentary. You are seeing this in real time.
Real time. This is real time. This is literally real. I mean, in some of the houses we couldn't get into because there was so much like mud and debris behind the door. Like they would have to like climb through the windows and stuff. There was another young lady who lived in, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the Midwest. She was from New Orleans, and her parents called her and was like, "Look, don't worry about us. We lived our lives, take care of our grandbabies." When they found them, they were in the bed together, holding hands, and had passed away. They drowned and everything, and they were still in the bed holding hands when they found them, man. So I mean, that's why I don't know, man. I just take so much pride in my family and try to spend as much time as I can with my family, man. My granddaddy told me, he said, "You get 18 summers with your children, 18 summers." And at the time, I was like,
really?
And people don't realize when they get about 15, 16, it's kind of like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gone." But you get 18 summers with children, because that's the only time they're not in school. You can kind of vacation stuff, man. So I take pride in that. My granddaddy told me that. So,
and it's talking about, when you talk about those people that you encounter in the community in New Orleans, and how a lot of them didn't want to leave because that was their home, and home means something to folks out in that area. And the Saints, that New Orleans Saints football meant something to them, and for you guys to, come back that season. And you won a Super Bowl, right? You guys went to the Super Bowl.
Well, so that year we was one game from we went to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
We ended up losing to the Bears, where the Bears ended up playing the coach that year. Yeah.
Right. But that was a year I returned back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and it was symbolic for the city to reopen again. And it's funny, you played in that first game back, but you just didn't play in there. You might have had the most significant piece of history in that game. You and Steve Gleason, and everybody at around sports, they looked at the block, but A&T fans, we focused on the recovery because that was our guy. And I think I got video of it. Hold tight. I think I got video.
Anderson is here for most field goals. Look out! Right through! A kick block by Steve Gleason. It is scooped and scored by DeLoach. Touchdown, New Orleans!
Oh, boy.
And so we looked at that dunk, and Doug, tell me, that brother got up, because I tried grabbing the goalpost before. That's about 10 feet.
Oh, it's up there. It's up there.
Oh man, it made it look easy, man. We ain't surprised. We seen that before practice. Loach messing around in the gym, but man, I'm telling you, that was such a special moment. I know where I was when I was sitting there watching TV. I know my exact spot. I know what the emotions were. Point, you're just looking on TV trying to see the guy. You're like, man, where you're looking for the number, you're looking for Cadillac out there, and I see him on the edge, and to see him recover that ball, man, I don't know if I'll ever jump and scream so loud at the TV. And if it then for him to pick it up and like I said, dunk it on the goalpost, that was and I don't know Aggie or anybody from your era or from our era that doesn't feel special about that moment, man. I can honestly say, man, that was one of the best moments that we can remember, man. But
I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's crazy, man, that my whole career through high school and everything, man, that stuff like that just seems to happen. Y'all don't even know, man. I wasn't even supposed to be out there on that play. That's the crazy thing about it, yo. Like they had 10 guys on the field, and they were like, "We need one more person." And I literally just ran out there, didn't know what to do. If you watch the tape closely, I didn't know where to line up, and I took off late. Like I didn't take off when everybody else took off. I had no idea what to do. None of that, and it's crazy. I wasn't even supposed to be out there on that play at all. At all, I wasn't supposed to be out there at all. Crazy, man.
That's
it does, like you say, that you ever see that meme where is what's the guy's name? What's the guy who plays in Titanic? What's the dude's name? The actor.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, so he's like pointing at the screen like he recognizes something. That's how I was when I saw that. I was like, that's Curtis DeLoach. When I was watching that live on Monday Night Football, and I was like DiCaprio this point, like I recognize that dude. And when you called it and then dunked, I was like, yeah, that's him. that's DeLoach, man. Yeah, but man. And like I was telling Jason, man, stuff like that they can never take away from you. That's gonna live in people's minds forever. As long as they talk about football, they're gonna remember that. That's one of those plays, man. And you know, oh man, as an Aggie, it made us proud. It's like another extension of Aggie greatness.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, man? It's crazy because back then there weren't that many HBCU players in the league. Like
right.
Mm-hmm. You know, it really wasn't. You know, and I used to talk so much junk when I was on. I used to always tell people, man, we would have whooped y'all. I remember when I was with the Giants, man, and they had Shockey and Joseph and all them boys from Miami. I said, man, we would have whooped y'all back in 2001, knowing in my mind that we would have played. Knowing in my mind, because you know what? I don't think y'all know this. We had a chance to play them. I don't know, Doug. I don't know if you was there, Doug. It was between Portland State, the University of Miami, and somebody else. And Coach Hayes, we was gonna play University of Miami. Coach Hayes was like, hell no, excuse my language. It was like 2000. I think either 2000, 2001, one of those years.
It was 2002. It was 2002.
Yeah, we had opportunity to play them. Yeah, and I was like, thank God we didn't. I don't know who they had on 2002 team though, but at that time, because I tell people all the time, the difference, honestly, is not the skill players, it's the linemen. That's the only difference. And the quarterback play, I give you that. But as far as the skill position, man, it ain't too much of a difference, man. And I didn't know that until I got in the NFL and I really saw it. And I was like, because at first when I got there, I was like, can I play with these guys? And then when I got there, I was like, I mean, they ain't really no better than guys I played with at A&T. They're just on a bigger platform. They're just on a bigger platform, man. And I think about it all the time, man. I like Doug, if we would have ever had the opportunity to play in the Celebration Bowl back then, 99, 2000, 2001, you would have had so many guys getting an opportunity on the next level. I'm telling you.
Kurt, anytime he put up in the Georgia Dome, I think he caught one. You know, what would have been your junior year? He caught one. I think that was the defense had 5 picks against South Carolina State in that last game that JB's last defense. Did they? Pittman had a pick. Horton had a pick. Loach had a pick. Boy had a pick, and Ravenel had a pick. Those 5 guys he named on defense was shutting them boys down. And South Carolina State was talented then too. And when you show, anytime you got the big stadium, man, we know, like you said, you was a playmaker. If nothing else, you're gonna make a play. And guys look to you like that, man. It's one thing to make plays. It's another thing to have guys that are former players like Mo Smith coming up to you and say, hey, make a play. And guys on the team looking at you like, man, we need Loach to make a play. And to come through and those are the guys that are special, man. And you were that kind of guy. And even when you went on and when playing the league, you were the guy that came back. You were visible. You still led guys. You know, you came back in the caddy. He went and got him a Cadillac. Then he went and got him came back for the Escalade. He was really kept back then, but it was for guys who, you know, didn't know many guys that played in the NFL, you know, from our area. To be able to see Curtis and touch Curtis and talk to Curtis and him to be active and still be involved with his, not only the team, but his frat brothers. I mean, he was one of those guys that was larger than life on campus, you know. He was a superstar. He was a celebrity on campus, not only from what he did in undergrad, but, you know, the plays he was starting to make in the NFL. So, man, you were just one of those guys that passed the torch on, you know, especially from the 99 guys. You kind of had Mo in that era, and then pass it on to you, and you did everything you could to pass it on to the next generation, man. And to this day, I still try to link Kirk up. I tell guys about Curtis DeLoach all the time. If you was 6'1" plus, I'm telling you, man, you need to go look up Curtis DeLoach. You need to find this.
That's what I brought up Prunty. I said Prunty reminds a little bit. He got that. We gonna see if he can live up to the hype, but he's long and rangy. All right, hey, Craig, real quick though, give me your number one Curtis DeLoach memory, because you was front center for a lot.
Ooh, that's a bunch. I'm kind of like I kind of go with what Kurt said earlier, but the Florida A&M game. I think that's when he caught my attention. Just making plays, the block hits, the punt return. He was a game changer, and that's the thing that made him so valuable and so fun to watch. Was he made plays? I mean, when you need a big play, he would come up. He would come up. I think it was the two punt returns you had against Delaware State.
Yeah,
it was so funny because we were sitting in the stands. We saw after the first we say, ain't no way in the hell they're gonna get the ball back to him again.
They did it.
They can't be that damn stupid to get the ball to him again. And what did he do? Next punt.
And listen, because personally, I was a huge Chris Caldwell fan. CC, my guy. He and his brother and I were best friends. And I grew up and he's a huge reason I came to A&T because I followed him. He played receiver, taught me everything I know. So punt returner, that's my guy. So when CC got hurt, and I see this tall joker back, I'm like, this guy returning punts. Punt returner supposed to be a little scat guy, a little quick guy. Yeah, man. Cadillac back then, I can't even remember what team we're playing. It wasn't a punt return you took to the house. It may have been Bethune at homecoming in 2000. And Kurt broke like 10 tackles in like a 20-foot space, just shedding guys off of him. And it was like, I think he fielded the ball inside his own 10 or something, and just start shedding guys. I'm like, damn, they can't tackle this guy. And then on defense, Kurt would bait you. He was fast enough. He could faster than you and could run past you. But as a quarterback, man, guys, he can't get to it. You can't go deep on him, because if you go deep on him, he's going to run beside you on the post. And when the ball's in the air, you're not going to out-jump him. And so, again, like you said, once he got the ball in his hand, he's trying to go the other way. Just like on special teams, we had guys that was looking to get Kurt in the box. Once they realized he had that.
Oh yeah. Dude, I'm going to tell you something. It was crazy that on punt return, I'm talking about guys actually took pride in blocking. Like, no lie. Like, they actually took pride in blocking. I mean, and it's crazy, man, how that was back in like 2000, 2001. And then when I got to the NFL and we would watch film on Devin Hester, and the coach would tell us that the guys on punt return take pride in blocking for Devin Hester. And I'm like, dude, we was doing that back in college. Y'all talking about this in the NFL. We was doing that. I mean, they were setting walls up. We had special returns and everything, man. It's amazing the stuff that coaches was teaching us back then that they just now starting to do now in the NFL, man. So people really don't give HBCUs the credit they do. Now they are now. Yeah. And I think, with celebrity like Dion coming in place, right, he's kind of putting eyes on A&T, and then A&T had that great run. What was it, like 2015, 16, 17, 18?
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
4 out of 5. Yep.
Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy.
So my favorite moment, and this is I don't know if you remember this one, but this is 2003. It's because you guys won a MEAC championship that year also, and this was when y'all went to Morgan State, and they tried you on like a double move or something. Yeah, and you made I've been looking all day. This used to be on the internet. I got a VHS tape in my library, but this is the highlight I was trying to show tonight. I couldn't find it in time. But you did like a Michael Jordan, like the actual Michael Jordan logo move. Jumped over like 2 people, extended your hand and picked it over your head, and it was the most incredible. Do you remember that play?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was against Morgan State.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I think it was at Morgan State. I think.
It was at Morgan State. Yeah.
Let me tell you what's crazy. You bring that up. My little brother sent it to me on Instagram, and I said, "How did you find that?" He was like, "It was on Facebook somewhere." He literally just sent it to me like 2 weeks ago.
Man, I will never forget that. That was the most athletic interception I've ever seen an A&T player make. And this like you and you. I think you had just played Q, so you were big. You like six. You
Yeah,
like
Q, all the Qs, all of them was at the game.
right. And but you were heavy though. You about what 225, 230 almost, right?
So let me tell you what was crazy. So coming into my senior year, they was like, "Yo, you probably gonna go to safety, so you need to get on the weight." So I was lifting weights and taking creatine and all this stuff, right? And I think we went on the scale, and it was like 220. I was like, "Coach, I can't play at 220," but I literally played at like 215, 220 my senior year, and still was able to move the way I did. But when the scouts came in, they said, "You need to lose that like now." So I went from like 220 to like 203, like before I went to training camp.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, you gotta use that because if you 220 now, you're gonna be 240 by year 2 or 3 or whatever. Yeah, but it was crazy, man. Yep.
Well, look here, man. We can talk all night about your highlight, and we can like say all these guys from that era. Doug, we just gonna have to find some time to bring them back. There's like so many layers to these stories. Like we just tipping the iceberg right now. We got to get into all those crazy Bill Hayes stories. I need to find out some Doug Brown stories.
Hey, hold on. Look, okay. Let me say this one story, man, because I was listening when Jason Bannon was talking, right? Look.
All right.
Well, I wish me and JB could have got up there together, man. So look, this was my freshman year, 2000. We was playing at Hampton. Get there, you get off the bus. They had everybody key card on the table. You grab your key card, go to your room. I get there, I'm like, I said, "Hey, coach, I ain't got no key card." He said, "You better find somewhere to sleep." I'm like, "What?" So I go to Udi, Ahmad Blakeney and Booker T room. I said, "Yo, I need to sleep." They was like, "Man, nah, we got some girls coming online." I was like, "Oh." So it's starting to get late. So I literally went to Coach Hayes' room, knocked on the door. Coach Hayes come to the door, man. He got on tighty whities, that t-shirt tucked in, got his gold chain on. He said, "What the hell you want, son?" I was like, "Coach, I don't know where to sleep." He was like, "Huh?" I said, "I don't have nowhere to sleep." He said, "Man, get your ass over there on the couch." So I literally slept in the room with Coach Hayes, man. He sitting in the hotel room smoking a cigarette in his tight white. And look, we watching the 700 Club. I'm sitting there like because there ain't no cell phones back then. So it was curfew, so I couldn't leave the room. I'm sitting there like, you have got to be kidding me, man. Like I'm really in the room with my head coach. He's sitting here tighty whitey smoking a cigarette watching the 700 Club. Man. Like, I have so many Coach Hayes stories, man, that y'all do not believe. I'm telling y'all, man. Like Coach Hayes is legendary, bro.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Greatest.
I got my offer in the old field house. He offered me in a towel smoking a Doral. That's how I got my copy. Hey, so
and you know what's crazy? I still talk to Coach Hayes to this day, man.
Oh, a lot of guys do. A lot of guys.
Hey, Coach Hayes to this day, man.
Go ahead, Doug. Yes, sir.
I was gonna tell him. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say actually it comes full circle though because you had your unbelievable career. You went to the NFL, made us all proud. And you came back in Charlotte, settled down, got your family. Got what, 4 kids now?
Yeah, 4. You know what's crazy, man? Yeah. My daughter is at A&T right now playing volleyball.
That's what I was gonna ask you next. Yeah. So talk about that, and you talk about full circle. Your daughter is she must be a freshman, right?
Yep, freshman. Yep.
She's come in to play for the A&T volleyball team. Yep. And she still has those DeLoach genes, so she's gonna be jumping up and spiking the ball in people's faces.
You want to know what's crazy, man? Is that she played travel volleyball and high school volleyball, man. And she has a similar story just like me, man. And we had time next time we get into it, but A&T wasn't even looking at her. They were not looking at her not one time. So we played a tournament in Atlanta. The head coach saw the twins, Darlene.
Yeah, the Mitchell twins.
Yes. Saw them sitting beside us and walked up to us and was like, "Hey, what y'all doing?" They're like, "Oh, we watching Sanaya." And he was like, "Hey, Curtis, how you doing? Good." And he was like, "That's your daughter?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my daughter." He was like, "Huh." Thought nothing of it, right? They called us and said, "Hey, we want her to come down here for an unofficial visit." So we went there for a visit. thought nothing of it. They end up calling her and say, hey, we don't have any scholarships available, but we want to offer you an opportunity on our team. You're going to sign. You're going to do everything. Like, this ain't going to be no walk-on. Like, you're going to sign a letter of intent and everything. We'll find you some money once you get here, right? Mm. And she still didn't make her decision until we went to a tournament in Philly. And she said, Dad, I think I know where I want to go. And I was like, where? She was like, A&T. And I was just like, oh, okay. And the whole time I'm melting on the inside, right? I'm melting, right? So, I mean, man, they gave her an opportunity. We went there for orientation. Everybody saw me walking around with her, and they was like, oh, my God, I remember you was a baby and walking around. Because, see, her mother played volleyball there. Her mother played volleyball at A&T. So then they ended up saying, well, look, we got to find her some money. So when I tell you, if A&T want to find you some money, they're going to find you some money. I can tell you that right now. They're going to find you something, man. So, I mean, she's excited, man. I'm excited for her, man. I mean, it's crazy because she sent me a picture. There's a picture of her, me holding her. She probably was 1 year old. We're in Moore Gym. We're in Moore Gym at a probate, and I'm holding her in my arms in the middle of Moore Gym. And then there's a picture of her that they took of her in the middle of Moore Gym, and she sent it to me. We was in the middle of Moore Gym. Yeah. That's crazy.
Come on,
man.
hey, Curtis, come on now. That's awesome.
And
freezing up, Doug.
On behalf of the
you said what?
When we go,
hey, freezing up. Say it again. Oh, we got volleyball.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Trophies, man. This is gonna my gift to you this year, man. Hard to get stuff like this, man. I don't know where I got it from. But
it is. Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Hey, you want to know what's crazy, man? If I can show y'all something, I don't know where I'm gonna put this at. Can I show y'all real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, look at this. Oh man.
Got a little man cave going on back there.
Y'all tell me where I'm gonna put this in.
He got a spike. Go.
Oh man.
Oh.
Like, y'all can't even see the whole thing, man. Like this. Like, they had this in our high school right here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man. Crazy, man.
Hey, so you what you gotta do? You gotta go to Hobby Lobby or someone like that and get a custom frame.
Yeah, man. That thing, it's crazy, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's crazy, man. That like my baby boy in there playing football.
Okay. How old is he?
I was running. He's 14. I was running late because they had a scrimmage today, and he's playing DB. He's tall, he's lanky, and I was
man, like, another one.
Another your kid plays the same position that you play. Like most times, you may have a son, he may be a quarterback or running. Like he don't play the same position you play, but he literally is playing DB and everything. And I'm sitting there like, this is crazy. Crazy, man. Crazy, man. He wants to go to A&T so bad too. God,
that's a blessing, man. And so you guys in Charlotte, right?
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte. Yep.
Okay,
Charlotte.
Okay.
How all your frat brothers showed up to Morgan State to cheer for you, man. I thought it was so cool that the boys showed up during y'all's conclave to support your kid at the baseball game.
Yeah, man.
Boys?
Yeah. Yeah. See, like my son played baseball too. So I mean, so I don't know what he likes more. He played baseball too, man. Yeah.
Jason gonna be another Jason Battle, 2 sports star.
Yeah, man. He played baseball too, man. Yeah, man.
Good deal. Yeah. All right. Well, look, Curtis, we can do this for 2 more hours.
Oh yeah.
Getting us kicked out, man. I don't know if you remember that, man. My vision basketball. Y'all went at the security guard. I don't know what y'all was. They didn't want to stand on the rail, man. We ain't want to stand on the rail. So that was my fault. That was my fault because I was smelling myself. I was like, shit, I'm DeLoach. I was like, shit, I said, shit, you know who I am? And they like, get off the rail. I said, man, I'm not thinking about him. And this was Doug's recruit visit.
Right.
I'm looking at the
So look, I'm sitting on the door. I'm leaning on the door. He opens the door and pushes me out at the same time, and I fly out. And Doug's sitting there stuck like, I guess I get kicked out too. I guess I'll go with him
to the playhouse late that night.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Good time.
Once you get pushed outside those doors, It ain't no coming back in. Them doors don't open from the outside like that.
No, them doors do not open from the outside.
That's good stuff, fellas. Hey, so look, we gonna bring you back on here, Curtis, and talk a lot more about football. And really during the season, you know, I don't know what your schedule's like after the games. We're gonna try to do like a little the review of all the A&T games, and maybe from a defensive perspective, you can look at some of the film and tell us what we did right, what we need to do better. You know, you can give your expert opinion on it. Well, you definitely going to be a regular on this show, man, because I love your personality and your stories. Yeah, and like I say, man, the history you guys made, man, it wasn't just for you guys; it was for us too, the fans. Because Craig, it made your life a lot better watching these guys go on those runs and the stuff I just want to let you know the stuff that you did matters, man. It affected a lot of people.
You,
it really did, man. And so I salute you. Can't wait to follow you. The next generation of DeLoaches, starting with your daughter.
Yeah, man.
What's her name?
Sanaya
DeLoach.
Yeah.
And she is an Aggie. She's on the yard. She'll be starting off in more gym pretty soon. We're gonna be following her, tracking her, and then you got some other guys, other kids in the pipeline.
Yeah,
coming up, so that's awesome. But definitely take care, man. Tell the family we know we're all supporting you guys, and we will see you next time around, man.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all guys, man. Be safe, man.
All right,
all right, take care, man.
All right, man.
That was the legendary Curtis DeLoach. And Doug, I think your mic is a little bit messing up. Are you good?
Oh,
say something. Yeah, you was kind of choppy. Yeah, good. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah, so we man, we got two awesome guests in one show. Only problem is, you know, we gotta be respectful of that time. I know everybody's got a bunch of questions that they want to ask, and I could have talked to Jason and Curtis for about 5 hours. This could be one of them long podcasts, but you know, these guys gotta do stuff. But we gonna bring them back. Don't worry, fans. If y'all like that, it's gonna be more of both of those guys. But real quick, Craig, we're almost at 2 hours. So, Craig, tell us about this weekend. AAF's got a bunch of stuff going on. You cooking for the team? What's happening?
We're having our welcome back picnic. Greensboro chapter's done it for many years, and it's the first time we've done it since coming out of the last one was in 2019. So we're over the hump as far as the pandemic is concerned. So we started back up where we invite all the athletes and coaches, and it's just for the athletes and coaches and, you know, athletic folks to join us out for a cookout. And we'll, you know, just an appreciation for the student athletes and the coaching staffs and all the hard work that they put in year round. They don't get once the season starts, they don't get a lot of breaks. So this is a good way for them to kick off the year, and they can enjoy themselves and let the hair down a little bit. And so we do that every year, and we'll be doing that this weekend.
Okay, awesome. And let me see. We got the Aggie Fun Fest on Saturday. What time is that?
Yeah.
Is that 10:30?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's 10:30?
10:30, yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I think my internet's having a little bit of issues, but we'll be good to go. All right, and so and like I say, they're gonna be making some decisions when it comes to that depth chart. So I think they have a scrimmage on Saturday that morning, and I think by the end of Saturday afternoon, we're gonna find out a lot of answers on who's gonna be on that, you know, coming out for that tunnel first against Central in a couple weeks. Man, so Doug, how'd that feel, man? You had a pretty eventful show, huh?
Oh man, I'm on cloud nine, man. Anytime I can catch up with those guys, football games. Hadn't seen JB in a while, but anytime it's like family, man. You see those guys and talk to them. It's like being in the locker room again. Both of those guys are comedians as side jobs. They're both comedians on the low, man. And JB, I mean, like you said, they got 100 stories on Coach Hayes. But everything they said was true for the most part. Like you said, it's true. I hadn't heard some of those stories, but hey, what he said about Coach Hayes, man, taking JB scholarship and coming to the door and let him have to sleep with it. My God.
Man, the picture he created, man. I don't know. It's gonna take a while for me to get that one out of my head.
Oh Lord, yeah.
That was classic though, man. Yeah. All right, guys. So we probably cut it short tonight. We've already at 1:45, and I think we really got, man, all that we can imagine from those two gentlemen. And like I say, next week we might have something special for you. We're gonna work out logistics, but we'll make an announcement pretty soon. We always got something up our sleeves, so we're trying to work on something next week. But oh yeah, we also got the bus stuff, right? If you want,
we've got a bus going down to Duke. So if anybody wants to go down, if anybody's ever been down to Duke for a football game, you got a hell of a long walk from anywhere on that campus, and we're taking the AF Greensboro chapter is taking a bus down to Duke. $35. Get your free ride down there and back. You won't have to walk half a mile to get to where you need to get from a parking lot, and save yourself the fat parking fees or possible tickets, depending on where you park. So it's if you're interested in that, you get a hold of me or get a hold of an AF member, and we'll get you. We'd like to sign you up, and later on this year we'll be talking about a trip down to Gardner Webb. We're getting that together, and that's coming up.
I might ride that one because I hate making that drive. So I might.
Yeah, that's a long drive. That's a long drive.
I might pay the money and just sit in the back and ride down there for that one.
Well, $75 will get you the bus trip and game ticket.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
man, that's a good deal.
$75. So if you're interested in it, hit me up on BlueDeathValley.com. I'll get you connected and get you all the details. And we'd be happy to take all comers. If we need be, we can take 2 or 3 buses. If the Aggies have a right season, we'll probably be 2 or 3 buses going down to Gardner Webb. So looking forward to it. So so if you're interested, just shoot me a message online.
So we got Charlotte, we got Duke, and we're trying to work on Gardner Webb. Those are the 3 bus trips so far. Okay.
Those are 3 bus trips.
Oh, and Doug, so what's up with the March Machine and Tiffany? They going to Houston next week?
March Machine is heading to the Battle of Bands in Houston. That will be next weekend. I think they're actually flying out Thursday.
Yeah.
They're getting prepared. Word is they got a good show, which is to be expected with the Machine. But the Machine is primed and ready to take the field. So looking forward to seeing that Aggie Lean come this fall.
Aggie Lean, I can't wait. Hey, they got to start doing that too. Hey, you said something right there. They got to start incorporating the Aggie Lean at least once a season. They got to bring it for homecoming or something. That's still one of the greatest moves in Black college, the Aggie Lean. So we got to keep that tradition going. But guys, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Man, Jason Battle, he had a season opener in a couple of days. Wish him the best of luck.
Yeah.
But he came on here and talked about his 2-sport career, being a MEAC champion and also one of the best baseball players the MEAC has ever seen. And then of course that Mr. DeLoach just blessed us with some great stories. So for those 2 gentlemen, and then I got Doug Brown and Craig. I loved your 2nd and 3rd installments of your season preview. If you haven't checked it out, Craig is now at number 3. He both of those are out on the site right now, and I guess you probably this weekend you drop 4. That's the next one coming up, right?
Yeah, that'll be the next one. It'll probably come early next week because I'm pretty backed up right now. I've already started working on it, but with everything going on, it's probably going to be either Monday or Tuesday with part 4, and then we'll wrap it up the end of next week with part 5.
And you know what, I know you're going to be busy, Craig, with that feeding the kids at the farm. But I don't know if any of you gentlemen are going to be able to make it to Fun Fest. I might try to sneak my head in there, walk around, shake some hands, kiss some babies, find out what's really going on with the fan base, see how everybody's feeling. They calling for rain all weekend, but you know how they might be like 30 minutes and that's it. So we'll see how the forecast go. Somebody want to see my shirt. They asked what the shirt was like. This is the original Scott Hall Militia shirt. All right. So I might tell y'all where y'all can get these at if y'all if y'all act right. Super limited edition. But until next time, Doug Brown, Craig Turner, I am Samaj Marsh, and this has been a special episode of Inside the Valley. We'll see you next week. Peace. Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.